And now I understand why you have those Akatsuki tattoos. You and your villain era. Roland, welcome to the show, man. You have anybody entrepreneurial in your family?
Absolutely not. They don't know what it is to make the money that I'm trying to make. They don't know what it is to work as hard as I'm working because they've only done what they body could do. My purpose is bigger than my fate. What more can I ask from God? I have both my legs and both my arms. I can see out my eyes. Why would I ask more from him?
This man is cooking right now. What do you put in your elevator pitches to really put yourself in the front and get these kind of connections?
When I was going through job hunting, all I had was one interview. One thing definitely need to have.
You can sing?
The best artist that I'll sing like is like Chris Brown. I don't know your name, but excuse me, miss. I saw you from across the room.
Hey guys, we realize a lot of you are coming to the page and enjoying the content, but we see a lot of you still aren't subscribed. And so if you could click that subscribe button, it'll help our channel grow and give you more episodes with a lot of amazing individuals. Yo, welcome back to another episode of Attractive Mindset. And I know the guests that you're used to seeing on this show are usually seasoned already, usually are at a different part of their life. But today we want to switch it up a little bit. We want to bring one of our younger guys on the show to give you his perspective on what you can do tomorrow instead of what you can do 5 years, 10 years from now, you know? So my guy Roland, he's a strapping entrepreneur. Listen, he got a book, he got everything going on, author. Listen, you got to tap in. He's a young athlete that's going places. His mind is on a completely different level. And so I'm introducing, man, Roland, welcome to the show, man.
Man, I appreciate y'all for having me. It's a blessing to be here right now. And I'm just grateful to be able to tell my story for people to listen.
Absolutely. So if you had to introduce yourself, somebody like, hey, man, you know what you got going on right now? How would you introduce yourself?
Shoot, former athlete, like you said, an author. Currently just a man working down here in Miami. I work in a corporate job, so I work in a white collar businesses, but I'm using that to fund every other thing that I'm doing on the side. So I do little things where it's like Instagram, YouTube, TikTok and stuff like that. But really the biggest thing that I'm doing is trying to find a way to get a path for a voice to people who were once like me as a student athlete that don't really know what to do after a college career.
So student athlete after college career. So how old are you right now?
26.
26. Okay. And so walk us through that process of being a student athlete first.
So crazy thing is, I'll throw this in here. I went to multiple colleges. So the first college I went to, I was accepted into the Air Force Academy. So I went through military school. So I went through the basic training and all of that and bald-headed, the whole facade, you know, and it wasn't for me, but it was a good learning point, especially being someone from, you know, I was born in inner city like Memphis, New Orleans and stuff like that. So complete 180 of my life. I left and I went to a junior college in the middle of nowhere, like Iowa. It's actually, you remember the show Last Chance U?
Nah.
Man, it's a Netflix series of like JUCO kids, football players and stuff like that. I'm on season 4, the last episode, playing against that team. So yeah, we played against them. I was highly recruited as a cornerback, and I ended up going to the University of Richmond, and I got my undergrad there in Virginia, and COVID hit. So then after that, I went and got my master's degree in Abilene Christian in Texas.
Oh, wow. Master's. And what'd you go for in master's?
Business administration. So
gotcha.
And I got my master's. It was cool. And shoot, after graduation, man, all I remember was I was sleeping on one of my best friend's couch trying to figure out life. And it was like, I didn't really know where to go. You know, here, there, you know, what to do. I wanted to stay in Texas, but, you know, life has different plans. But the one thing I refused to stay at my parents' crib. I stayed at my parents' crib 3 months max, post-graduation. 3 months max. 3 months max. I refused to be living at my mom's house. And it wasn't no offense to them. It's just like, as a man, like, nah, bro, you went through all of that and you live in your mama's crib. Like, nah, figure it out. And it's like, don't delay it because you get mad comfortable if you do. You do. So.
Definitely do. Okay, so I want to take it back even further a little bit, you know, going into like your upbringing. And so you're originally from Texas.
So I was born in New Orleans.
Okay.
And then we moved around the time of Hurricane Katrina. So it was at the time, me, my brother, my mom and dad. My parents both went to Southern University. So my dad, he ended up being a high school coach in Memphis, and that's how we ended up moving and choosing Memphis.
Gotcha.
You know, so yeah, I grew up in Memphis after that. Went to one of the most prestigious athletic schools in Memphis, White Station. So I went there, buku, you know, 5-star, 4-star athletes that went through that high school. But I have a baby sister now too as well. So she was born around the time I was in like late elementary. So I think like 3rd or 4th grade. So yeah, we were about 10 years apart. So it was just a family of 5. Hey, check this out. It's Roland Williams to tell you about my book, Persona's Track, set 200 years after World War III. It's a world with supernatural abilities and supernatural humans and supernatural animals. If you like the Avatar: The Last Airbender, it's basically a mature version of that. Tap in, link in the description. I grew up in Memphis.
Okay, and so athlete, athleticism, family run completely.
Yeah.
And your dad used to play?
Yeah, my dad used to play semi-pro. He's a player at Southern, so yeah.
Okay.
Truly athletic, yes, sir.
And so now growing up with a father like that, do you feel like you were pushed into it, or was it actually your choice? Did you gravitate towards it?
Be honest, I was definitely pushed into it. It used to, and then we shared the same name, so it was like a legacy name, and it was just the expectation from my father. And disclaimer, back then I hated it. I was, me and my dad, I ain't gonna say I resented him, but it just felt like I was never good enough.
Wow.
It was definitely one of those things where I just felt like I don't know if a lot of kids understand this, but I know some do, where I play baseball and football. It was like, man, if I just made a bad play, I'm gonna get my behind with when I get home. I don't even want to like my dad, he was kind of dramatic with it. It would be times like he would never sit in the stands with the parents, like baseball. He would never sit in the stands. I would be at bat, or I'm, walking up to on deck before going up to bat, and I'll see that great cutlass behind the fences, and I'm just like, dude, he's just sitting on top of the cutlass. He'll pull up with Hot Boys, some Turk Hot Boys, BG or something like that, and sit on the car with his shades on and just watching. I'm just like, man, if I don't get a home run or get a hit or something, if I get a strikeout, I'm finna strike out when I get home. I'm finna get my behind. And that kind of it really took the biggest toll when I was in high school, but for the better, because a lot of the kids in my high school love my dad. Like that's something that, like, before social media existed and all that, people genuinely love my, like, even to this day, they'll be like, every time I post him for his birthday, they'll be like, man, tell Coach Williams happy birthday, tell Coach Williams. So in my head, I'm like, okay, he left a legacy for these, he changed these kids, these inner city kids' lives. So when I got to high school and I saw that kind of pressure, because I never wanted to play sports, my grandma pulled me to the side and she was just like, what do you want to do with your life? And I told my grandma, I said, man, I want to go to college. I want to go to college and meet people and explore, the country, because my family couldn't afford to. And I was like, I want to go out west. And my grandma was just like, okay, just tell your dad. And my dad, whether he was telling the truth or not, he was just like, man, if you want to go to college, man, you need to get a scholarship. We can't afford it. And that hit me, because I was like, I really want to go to college. So because of that, shoot, I just knew that sports was the answer. And that's when I finally took it serious. I'm like, all right, cool. I've been athletic. I never really cared for it. I've been athletic. But you telling me to go to college, I need to use this athleticism to convince someone to pay for me? I do what I got to do. And then that's when I finally started taking sports truly serious. And I had a really good high school career after that.
Wow. Okay. And so now transitioning from high school into college, where did you go to school for college again?
The first one was the Air Force Academy.
Okay.
Second one was a junior college, because of a 4.24 transfer rule at the time. It was before the transfer portal. Like I'm 2017, kind of old with it. But for the transfer portal, so I had to go to a junior college, get my AA, and then get re-recruited. Then I went to University of Richmond and then Abilene Christian.
Gotcha. Okay. So getting picked up by these schools, what's going through your mind as somebody who doesn't really want to play sports, but understand that you got to do it for scholarships? And how did that actually work? Did you get the scholarships?
So I got all the scholarships. I had all my school paid for. But the one thing I definitely tell anybody, if you a guy, social skills, like the biggest thing that I would tell anybody right now is, like, you want your EQ. It's like IQ and it's EQ, emotional intelligence, and then, like, obviously the regular intelligence. Emotional intelligence is how you gonna get further in life. That's learning how to communicate with people, learning how to code switch, learning how to just, like, walk into a room and integrate yourself. You need to go to college, and you need to go to, as a guy, you need to go to college and be on some type of sports team. Usually people be in fraternities and stuff like that, and that's cool, but you need to be on a sports team, because that's the closest thing to how real world's competitiveness is.
Really?
Oh yeah. No, like, imagine being in a room, and I'm different colleges, like, there's some homeboys and I'm still cool with to this day that resented me when I first got to my college, because I'm at a new college damn near every 2 years, who resented me because the coach at the time looked at them and said, your replacement about to come in. Here's your replacement, Roland Williams.
Wow.
And they got to sit there and accept that, because if they they already convinced you're not good enough, I'm about to go get your replacement. So the replacement already got a step above you before he even proved himself, because that's how the recruitment goes. You're not going to spend this money on this dude and tell him to work harder than the guy you don't like.
Yeah.
So the coaches will look you in your face. I can't tell you how many times My corner coach would just look at us. We had a bad week, the team lost, scapegoat. And they'll sit there and be like, man, all y'all sorry. We about to I'm finna let the walk-on start this week. To your face. And that's like, you can't get mad because you're going to lose your scholarship. You can't complain about it because then if you complain, you're not going to be able to perform. And if you don't perform, then you dig in a deeper hole. And now with the integration of, the transfer portal, they'll just flat out take I've heard some of the horror stories. Like they'll just flat out take your scholarship and boot you out like the same year. And people will never know why. They just know that you was there, highly recruited, and you gone. But that's how the real world works. Like that's how it works. You got these layoffs in these companies. You got people like as a guy, like you need to provide. You need to have the thought to yourself that if you don't bring something to the table, no one will care. And college sports, not just football, but college sports is the closest thing to that. And it's like, imagine making that jump, right? Imagine you go from high school, you go to college. If you was a regular student, you could be ignored the whole time. No one will really care. And then you go to the real world and it's way bigger.
Yeah.
Man, you probably you see why depression and stuff is increasing, in men, you know what I'm saying? Because they're just like, why is everyone ignoring me? Why can't I get this girl? Why can't I get this job? Why can't, and then you doing the same versus college sports. It's like, it is a rotation of 6 months of new, you got the season 6 months. You didn't prove yourself, 6 months of spring ball, try it again. Summer, try it again. Fall camp, like you got rotations of, you get a second chance, you get a third chance, you get a fourth chance. Whereas the real world, man, you be working that same job for 3 years in a row.
Yeah.
And life will fly by,
Got you. Okay, cool. No, that's a different perspective. And I never heard it like that. I like that. And so now you transition into the college aspect. Back then, was NIL big or would you pushing it? Like how did that work?
NIL literally didn't come up until my last year. And it was only at like the big schools. So it was like, it was one of those things where, especially because I played at a small school, we actually made it to my school made it to the, I think the second or third round of playoffs. So it was a huge turnaround. The school just became D1 a few years before I came up there. But NIL was like, as soon as it dropped, it went to the big schools only. So you only heard it at like LSU, Bama,
Gotcha.
Colorado and stuff like that. And now I've seen it now, like it's getting to the smaller schools now. But man, like I said, I've kind of been a late bloomer with it. Like it's only hitting right after I left. So
Gotcha.
NIL wasn't, you just got your stipends.
So what stipends?
Man, stipends, so it's like, you really only got it if you lived off campus because that's how you paid your rent. But if you was that athlete, you can increase your stipend or ask for a little bit more, but it's only a monthly paycheck of like 15, 18, sometimes $2,000 something dollars. That's it. And dudes just made that last the whole month. Because at the time, like, especially if you live with teammates, your rent wasn't that expensive.
Yeah, and that's for playing.
Yeah, that's for playing. So it's like if you was a kid who wasn't on scholarship, you had to figure it out. Take out a loan or something like that.
Yeah, and your games was on TV?
Oh yeah. So we played big. I've always played big teams. Like I played against when I was at Air Force, we played at Michigan. That was our biggest team we played that year. I redshirted that year, so I didn't play. And then, when I was at Richmond, we played against Boston College. He just signed for the Eagles, A.J. Dillon, and the receiver for the Ravens, Zay Flowers. That was his freshman year, matter of fact.
Gotcha.
And then when I played at Abilene Christian, we played We played University of Missouri, and then another big team that we played, SMU. We played against them. So yeah, we always played like big teams, but with the integration of like ESPN Plus, right? That allowed us to always have our games filmed for TV purposes. So it wasn't that necessarily that we was like spotlight TV, like same way SEC team is, but it was filmed to where you get the same feeling where you got commentators, you see the scoreboard at the bottom, and you can watch on, you can stream it, you know? So yeah, no, it definitely still felt like, playing D1 and stuff like that.
Okay, so now in your perspective, well, first off, what position did you play?
Corner. I played corner, and then I later moved to nickel.
Okay, so in your perspective of being on the field against some of these prestigious type schools and these people that eventually ended up going towards the NFL and whatnot, how is it like? Do you get to see that person on the field and be like, damn, this person is on another level? Or like, how do you feel in that moment?
I probably was the most arrogant and like conceited athlete on the field. And I wouldn't say it was my downfall because that's just my personality. Like I couldn't be quiet, but I had to do that because one, I'm on like 5'11". I'm facing receivers that are 6'3", 6'4", about to go pro. So like I couldn't look at them as if they just like an anomaly. Cause if I did, then they gonna treat you like one. Yeah. They definitely gonna treat you like one. And man, it's one of those things where I refused to be one of those head tappers. You know, you don't want to be. They used to call it these called quick six. If you was, especially if you play corner, right? You give up one play and it be a touchdown. If you was quick six, oh, you best believe you finna have a night. They finna be throwing the ball on your head the whole time, and it's like you can't do nothing about it. I remember we played Central Arkansas. That was probably like one of my like rusty games, and it wasn't that I gave up too many catches. It was just so much going on in my head. I made one mistake. I was doing real good at the beginning. And a dude had ran like a drag across the field. He was like a 6'3" guy. You know, they had two receivers. And he had caught the ball across the middle. And the quarterback kind of threw it behind. And I thought I picked it. And it tipped and went in his hand. We playing man cover, something like, you know, somebody gonna get him. 3 yard. It was like a 2-yard route. Sucker took it 70 yards to the crib. Wow. After that, they just kept. Now, I didn't give up any catches after that. But I had a night of, coach, what's going, you know what I'm saying? A couple flags thrown, whatever, because they just looked at it like, okay, we want this quarterback and receiver to have confidence. Yeah. They not finna just be on, they like that hour, they don't care about nothing else but just trying to shatter your confidence. And that's like, it's a dog, like college football is the closest to modern day gladiators. Because you sit there, you could legally hit somebody and not get in trouble. True. Right? You take somebody's head off, you tackle somebody, you curse them out, you punch them, like you legally cannot go to jail for that. You can get a flag. Whoops. You know, that ain't nothing. So you could sit there and be as barbaric to say, and it is barbaric. You know, you go in that locker room, coach is yelling at you, you win, you got water thrown everywhere. Like it's as barbaric as you can think it is. But that's amazing. You know, you can't replace that feeling. Like I know basketball and baseball is I play baseball too. That's pretty dope. But football, the only thing I think is close is maybe hockey, but that's a smaller team. Football, you got 70, 80 people that share the same, you know, pain as you. Yeah. You know, and then another team, so that's 140 people on the field just talking. Like you yell, like, man, I'm talking about like it's really cracked down. They sitting there belittling you. They'll do like the worst thing I think one of my teammates ever did was before kickoff, he researched the dude. He's like, okay, bet that's number such and such. Saw that the dude's girlfriend was on his page. So he looked up the girl's name, woody woot. So we sitting there on kickoff. We had just scored. We sitting there on kickoff and he looked at the dude. I can't remember the dude's name, but he was like, hey, folk. He said, man, what happened to such and such? While she was at our hotel last night. Oh, damn. Man, that got to that man so fast. Because then what happened was fast forward after the game, the girl ended up reaching out to my teammate saying, why'd you tell my boyfriend that I knew you? And I'm like, oh, bro, it got to his head. But that's just how the game goes.
That's cold. Okay. So it's a lot of psychology going on too on the field.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So now when you in your career, you know, you're doing your thing and everything, you focused, you said you still wanted to always go to college to study. So what's the dynamic of time you allot towards being an athlete and time you allot towards your studies?
So when I was at the Air Force Academy, that's when I definitely felt like I was the dumbest person in the room. You know, I had a good ACT score. I was smart coming out of college. And that's the biggest blessing that I would tell any guy that's my age or younger, like, go travel, go be somewhere else. And the reason why I say go be somewhere else is because you're only as good as a circle around you. Now, you could be a big bass in this small little lake, but then if you go to the ocean, man, you the smallest fish out there. And when I went to the Air Force, I'm surrounded by people who wake up wanting to be the next president, wake up to want to be the next NASA, you know, astronaut. And I was like, dude, I really feel dumb. But that's when I knew, like, okay, you either shy from, like that's how the real world is, where like there are people that exist out here who will just be better than you. No matter how hard you try, there's always somebody better than you. It's just, can you get in front of somebody else first before they do? You know? And then when I went to my junior college, could have did it in my sleep. And that's the 180 perspective of it. Then Richmond, you know, it's the same thing. You know, when I first got up there my first semester, I definitely had my fun. And it was bad. Like, I had a bad GPA. I was a knucklehead. Like, it was like, I went viral for a couple of things that wasn't really good. Like, I did a lot of like typical college athlete stuff. Gotcha. Because I never got it out of my system. And I'm glad I did, because then I started taking it serious. And I was like, okay. Calm down. And that's why I had a good career at my next, because COVID hit. So my next girl had a really good career. And it was like, again, that second, third chance. Because that's what college allows you to do. It allows you to have second, third. You could go to college. Right? We're all grown here, right? You could go to college, get like wasted, like like completely blown out, wasted, maybe lose your keys, something, and end up in your dorm, maybe late to your next class, and it's all right.
Yeah.
You do that as a grown adult,
Nah.
you might get a DUI.
Yeah.
Now you might get fired from your job. You show up late for your job, you still might get fired. Your bills still got to get paid. The dishes still need to be washed. You can go in the on-campus dining hall if you hung over and go eat some food because it's already pre-made. You can make those mistakes in college. And a lot of brothers, they don't go to college or they don't have that kind of lifestyle. You know, the biggest thing I tell them, you know, I've always had like a girlfriend. I've always had a shorty that like is my focus. I'm still glad that I had my fun, but a lot of brothers get caught up getting a girlfriend. It's like, bro, and I'm not talking about be a flirt. Like I'm not talking about go out there and just mac on every girl you see, but it's like you really hurt yourself. Cause 9 times out of 10, what girl's gonna tell you to like go outside?
Yeah.
Go have some fun. Go do stuff with your boys. Most of them not. You know what I'm saying? It's in their nature to tell you like, you know, come back home and stay home with me unless I want to go out. So it's like you missing out on that EQ. Like that's what I love so much about what I've done up to this point in my life is I got a lot of experiences that you can never take away from me. And all the people who tell you to do this to get rich or this course to get rich, they're not telling you the experience part. They telling you this course that they made that's gonna get you to this point, but if you was a dork before you got rich, you're gonna be a rich dork.
Facts.
You still gonna be that same dorky dude that don't know how to talk to girls, because every man want to know how to talk to girls.
100%.
That's why we here in Miami. Every dude want to talk to girls. But guess what? They gonna be scheming and tricking on your behind if you was that same dorky dude that don't know how to talk to a girl when you was broke.
Miami eat you alive, man.
And that's why I came here. You know, I was in Colorado, my last job. I was in Colorado, first job I got, and it was so slow. It was so slow. Like I didn't even party. That's why I was able to write a book. You know, check out my book on Personas Track. It's a science fiction book on Amazon. Check it out if y'all want to. It's like 500 pages. It's basically like a mature version of Avatar. But yeah, like I had that much time because there was nothing going on. It was snowing. There was nothing going on, and I was there for 10 months, and I was like that big fish in a small pond. And I'm like, I need to throw myself in the ocean. What city is the ocean? LA, New York, maybe Houston, and then I found Miami, and I'm like, do I take that risk? And let me tell you something. I take plenty. My parents, like, I love my parents. They support me with a lot of crazy stuff. My parents was just like, Roland, don't do it. All they know is bad things about it. They was like, Roland, don't do it. And I said, no, I'm going to do it. I literally applied. Took me 3 months. I got the job I wanted. Man, I ain't even put my 2 weeks in. It was like a week and a half. I went to New Orleans for my birthday for the 4th with my cousins and my parents, and I told them, yeah, I'm about to move. And they're like, what? And I literally got my apartment the day I got down here. I drove 30 hours with my dogs down here, and I got my apartment because I was just like, I needed to move down. And it hasn't even been a year yet, but my life, the experience portion has completely changed since being down. I'm so glad. I wouldn't take that for granted. My whole life has changed since I've been down here.
I see. So you had mentioned when we first started off, before we even got on camera, that you ended up sleeping on your homegirl's couch.
Yeah.
And so
my best friend,
that happened in college?
Man, so it was finishing my last semester, you know, so I wasn't an athlete anymore. Like we're doing our pro days and stuff like that. So my rent had been done, but I was banking on, you know, talking to my agent, I was banking that somebody was going to invite me for another private workout. Then I wanted to stay, so I was applying for jobs down there. Like just something just to be in the area just in case I get picked up.
So talk about that real quick. Like what, you know, how hard, because that seems like a hard cut. Like, okay, we're not using you anymore. We just cut your lifeline, your support of the stipend and stuff that they're giving you. Yeah. And so what is the process of that?
I say the biggest equivalent to that is like how it is getting laid off. And the what is it called? The separation. I forgot what the word starts with the S, but it's like some separation where they give you a check for the next 2 months at a white collar company, which not all companies give, mind you. Severance pay.
Got you.
So yeah, no, they cut it. They still allowed us to come work out, but they treat you 180. They treat you 180. I remember like, you know, that they don't say what's up because you're not useful to them. Like I implore and I tell all my homeboys this, like, I know that you feel like the world's against you and all this, but ask yourself this. If you needed something immediately, would you call yourself? Would you call yourself to help you for whatever that situation is? You, as a man, you're only as good as your usefulness. You know, you can sit there and be like, man, the world should treat me like this, but like the world don't care, because at the end of the day, like people got their own issues. I don't never fret somebody who stopped talking to me because I'm not useful to them. Like, I understand that, cool, that's fine. But like me, I strive to be useful. So again, going through all that with those coaches and everything where they're not talking to me as much. Some same coaches that'll dap me up in the hallway. Now they kind of just looking the other way. And it's like, it hurt. Cause I'm thinking like, damn, I thought we had a relationship. I thought we was cool. But that really prepared me for how the real world is, because it's like, it's really that cold out here. And if you don't get used to it, man, you're going to be in your apartment by yourself looking up at that ceiling before you go to sleep. Like, ain't nobody here. I'm just by myself. And when you with football, shoot, man, if you're not playing, when you're not playing or when the team suck, you go in that locker room, your homeboy that's not playing, talking with you, man, I'm about to transfer, this team sucks. You got somebody to relate to. But then everybody go their separate ways. Life hits. So yeah, after they cut that lifeline, it was kind of just like, dang, it's really just me. But I kept the same routine. So what I was doing is to make ends meet and still pay was, man, I've always been the type of dude to have a job. Always. Like even when I was getting a stipend, I had a job. And usually it's 2 jobs. So when I was doing my last semester, I was working at Amazon 3 o'clock in the morning. 3 o'clock in the morning working at Amazon, and I would be DoorDash. And the city itself was so perfect for DoorDash. You just had to drive in a circle. And I'll DoorDash. It's 24 hours a day. I ain't doing nothing else. I train, get my training out the way. Pro day is not until March. Like, you know what I'm saying? Just what else am I supposed to do? Lollygag, talk to girls. It's like, you just wasting time. You know, if you want to, I tell people this, like, if you don't, there's a saying I always say is that if you fail to prepare, then you prepare to fail.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's like I was waiting for an opportunity by always working, even the opportunity never came up, but getting money. If I needed money, if I needed to up a league, get my credit score up, whatever, just to be able to go to an apartment and get accepted, like I was also doing that. I wasn't just waiting on one thing. It's like 2-3 different eggs and I'm waiting, to get my things together. So yeah, when they cut me off, it definitely hit, and it definitely took a mental toll on me. But again, like that allowed me to be where I am right now. So I'm not mad about it.
And then how'd your dad, being super enthusiast about being an athlete in the athlete world, feel about that?
Man, when he saw how everything was going down, he was really disappointed because, and not me, but he was really disappointed because he was just like, he saw how hard I worked. And one thing I did, my dad and my mama old school, I never try to convince them to think differently. That's like trying to convince a dog, the saying like, don't try to teach old dogs new tricks. That's trying to like convince them something they'd been had for 20, 30 years. Like they just don't understand. They ain't got social media and stuff like that. So for me, I was really just sitting there like, yeah, Dad, it sucks, but just let me do me. Like, just let me, because he was like, man, keep pursuing the league. He was like, man, you can come home and we'll let you, train for the spring league. Because that's what some of the teams wanted me to do, is go to the spring league. But I was like, man, you telling me to wait till next spring? You telling me to not get no money, not use my degree, and wait until next spring? And I'm like, I told my dad, I was like, I ain't gonna wait a year. I'll make some shake. Because by that time that year rolls around, it'd be a totally different situation. And I ain't like, I was in a year in Colorado, now I'm a year later, I'm in Miami. So it's like, I just told my dad, like, just let, and they could never understand it because they don't know. They don't know what it is to make the money that I'm trying to make. They don't know what it is to work as hard as I'm working because they've only done what they body could do with the access they have. So a lot of kids resent their parents because they're like, oh, my parents don't support me. Look what your parents grew up in. How can they know? How could they know? Like, I literally grew up before the iPhone came out and have seen, what iPhone we on right now? Like 18, 16? 16 different iPhones. And our parents had the beepers. You know what I'm saying? How could they know what it is to work this fast with life? So yeah, my dad, he was disappointed, but I never, they've always been a supporter. So I just kind of just be like, I hear you, Dad. I appreciate it. And it's like, it sucks. Like I sometimes can't tell them everything because I know that to them, that's just weird. It's weird to come to Miami. It's weird to strive for this type. It's weird to chase millions. They just like, man, just do what you working 9 to 5, you good. But it's like, nah, I don't want y'all to work no more. I get so annoyed. My dad, he a hard work. He just like Roland Sr., my grandfather. He a hard working ox. This man is about to turn 51 and got 3 different jobs. Wow. And it literally tears me. And one of those motivations that I have to just keep working hard because it's like he works as a blue collar worker. So he only gets paid when his body's there. He ain't got no ventures on the side and passive income. So as long as his body allows him, that's how much he can work. And we all know that's not how the world is. Yeah. You ain't gonna be able to make it. You ain't gonna be able to make that much, even me. But that's what I'm saying. When you young, bro, work them 2-3 jobs, man. You got 25, like really, you could really like schedule your day and be making money constantly. I've always had multiple jobs. Still right now, I got multiple jobs. You know what I'm saying? Still right now. And that's just always been in me. Like, I don't need the multiple jobs. I just like always having money coming in. I like getting paid, every week versus bi-weekly. Oh, yeah. I like getting paid multiple times. And it's like, shoot, that's play money. That's my gas for this month or this week. I can go drive a little bit more this week, or I can invest more in my book. Like, my book, I self-published it. I paid for, I did all the editing. I paid for an actual editor. I gave the editor like $1,000 to go edit, do what they're supposed to do. And I did all the editing, the cover, the map I made. I did everything. I put it on Amazon. I did it all myself. But that's because I didn't waste my time and I had the money to allocate towards those funds. I see a lot of people that are desperate for something to pop off when in reality, it may not pop off right there. Like my book, I know there's going to be something that could change my life. But that's an investment. Whatever you post on YouTube, one of these videos on a podcast, that's an investment because you never know. I've gone viral multiple times. I got multiple viral videos on my dogs and my workouts. Millions. I'm talking about 8, 9, 11 millions views, stuff like that. And it happens out of nowhere. But that's what it is. Whenever you put a video out there, whenever you put something out there that may not happen immediately, but it's a passive investment, you just waiting for that one day that it pops off. I don't know. You remember the situation with it was the Philadelphia Eagles, A.J. Brown, right? Football player. You remember when they caught him reading on the sideline?
Yeah.
And they was making a joke boy, this boy, they'll never read.
Yeah.
The author literally has been, since that incident, the #1 selling book author on Amazon.
Really?
Think about that for a second, right? That means he's better selling than Harry Potter, better selling than Game of Thrones, Hunger Games, what's that one? There's a dragon book that everyone's been talking about. I forgot. Fourth Wing, better than all those authors. Because of what one athlete, free, didn't even do no paid marketing. Yeah. So that's all the residuals come back. I know how much money I make per book copy and how much Amazon KDP gives. So I'm looking at his and I'm thinking hit or miss how much he making. And you #1, that means he's selling
He's selling a lot.
100,000, bare minimum, 100,000 books. Yeah. Got to be getting sold since that incident.
Wow.
All because some dude just happened to be reading on the sideline that he probably didn't even know exists. That author probably don't even watch football. Probably. He might not even be American. His whole life changed. Whole life just changed. You ever heard of the book The Alchemist?
Yeah.
The orange one. Yeah. By Paulo Coelho?
Yeah.
You know the story about how it blew up?
Nah.
So the story about how it blew up, he's a Brazilian writer and he had wrote the book and it was just it didn't do well. It was 20 years. No one really heard of it. He just did a passion project. I think which president? I think it was Bill Clinton. It's before social media, was holding it at one of his press conferences and they took a photo. And that's how the whole world knew about the book. And now that book has many translation, one of the world-renowned books, just because the president was walking with it. You just get lucky. And what I mean by luck, it's like a lottery thing. It's not if I were to ask you who's more luckier or who's luckier, a person who does a lottery once a month, so 12 times, or a person who does the lottery every single day for 365 days, who's more likely to break the bank?
Every day.
Every day. If you post something or you put something in the basket every single day, you're guaranteed to win one day. That's just probability. That's just common sense probability. I haven't announced it to my Instagram yet because I've been building my subscribers on my own on the back end. But my YouTube, I went from 80 subscribers in January, and I just finally hit 500 in 2 months because I post every day. I post every single day. Even a video only has 80 views. The next one just got 20K every single day. And you never know why it might blow up. But it's a lot of people would never see it like that. They're like, oh, I'll just do it one time. And it's, bro.
It's crazy because the law of numbers works that way. And I just went over this the other day in a class. And I want to say it properly. I want to bring up, it's, it goes off of birthdays. And it's crazy when you hear the numbers on this.
Okay, I'm listening.
How likely is it to same birthday as someone else in the room? Okay, cool. So in a group of 23 people, there's roughly, this is just 23 people.
Okay.
In a room. And so think about events that we go to out here and stuff like that. In a room of 23 people,
all right,
there's a 50% chance that at least 2 people share the same birthday.
50%.
Now, 50% chance. Now, when this number goes up to over 50 people in the room, it becomes a 97% chance.
That high?
That high.
For just 50 people.
For just 50 people. And so, just like you said with the lottery, if you play once a day, like the law of averages and numbers
It's
and
exponential.
It's just crazy. And so it's like, yo, only 50 people? And somebody in this room is likely to have the same birthday, more or less. And it might be multiple.
Yeah, because I see it like with the views, for example, because obviously we all post all the time, so we understand this. With the views, it's like, okay, cool. Let's say you post a video and you got 5 views. That's a classroom.
Yeah.
That's a small classroom. 5 people sat there and they looked at what you said and it was like, okay, yay or nay, right? Now, let's say you get 100 views. Dude, that's like that's like one of those like auditoriums at like the big colleges.
Yep.
All right. Now let's go even bigger. Let's say it's like 5,000 or 10,000 views. That's like an average D2 / a small D1 football field. Right? Now let's say we're going up to the big numbers, 100K. Anybody out there ever heard of the Big House, University of Michigan?
Yep.
That's their stadium.
Yep.
That's 100K people watching your content saying they like it or not. Everyone's always thinking of millions. Well, 100K will change your life. That's 100K people that either want to be approved or not approved, that you got their attention. So when I looked at it like that, it's like any number is a good number because it's better than one. That's how I see it.
That's a good perspective, man.
Yeah.
That's definitely good. For 26, you have a lot of wisdom, and you could tell that you're putting in the time to really structure how you want your life to be.
Yeah.
You're not leaving it up to chance, and that definitely does come from sports and having somebody who, in your family works on a blue collar level, but something that kept coming to mind as you talked about, like, man, my parents felt this kind of way, but I had to tell them, just let me do me. You're still honoring your parents, as the Bible would say, but you're still also taking your own path.
Yeah.
Because I feel like a lot of younger generational kids, get caught up in that fallacy where they only listen to their parents and then they end up resenting them for it because they do exactly as their parents say, and then they get stuck on that path. Whereas, you're like, man, I'm gonna do it. Now I'm gonna take the risk. I'm gonna jump. I'm gonna move. I'm gonna do this and that. And even though you're using college to really take that route, you have your master's degree and everything. That's super entrepreneuristic. You have anybody entrepreneurial in your family?
Absolutely not. Nobody. It was my uncles. He's my dad's brother. He's in white collar, but like my mom's brothers, all truck drivers. My mom was blue collar, dad blue collar, teacher. You know what I'm saying? Like, no, there's not a single entrepreneur. I mean, if you look at like cousins or something like that, like, yeah, for sure. But immediate family, no. And I'm the oldest.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? My baby brother, he's a blue collar worker. And my sister, she's just in high school. So this has all been like, so I grew up reading a lot. I used to get in so much trouble. I was like, couldn't sit still, troublemaker kid, always doing something. I was a bad kid growing up. But like, instead of them like expelling me, they just put me in, ISS. And that was when I read, like, they used to have these things called like AR points. And I was a smart kid. Like, obviously, I cared about my grades. I used to like finish my classwork so fast and just be sitting there like I'm bored. So I used to just read a whole bunch of books, but I wouldn't read no small books. I'm talking about 500, 600, page books. And I finished them because I wanted the highest AR points. That's like 30, 40 points. And I wanted to, get the AR points and all that. But I used to go to Scholastics and all that stuff back then, buy books, and reading changes a lot. And because what reading is the same thing we do with these podcasts.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing. You're looking at someone else's word, experiences, and you're sitting there understanding that person's mindset because they have to think a certain way to write these words, and you're trying to learn from them. So if you're reading an autobiography of David Goggins, one of the best books out there, you're literally learning from his experiences by reading his book.
Facts.
So reading is like a mentor. One of the best books I ever read when I was during that time after I got, done with football was 50 Cent, Hustle Harder. Oh my gosh. Like, and it's like, would I ever think I would ever be in a room with 50 Cent? Small probability. It's not no, but small probability. That book is the closest thing to letting him talk to you. And that's but no, how many Barnes and Nobles you see in the hood? How many liquor stores you see in the hood?
A lot.
Too many. You know what I'm saying? They don't put that around those certain areas. It's not nothing against them. They just don't think no one cares. I don't ever think it's because of demographic thing, like, oh, they just want them to be dumb. No, because they have been in schools. They just don't think they care. And it's like, why force something down somebody who doesn't care? They're just gonna give you more reason to just not have it. So you have to go out your way to like read a book. Like a kid will sit there and waste 5 hours on TikTok scrolling aimlessly, doom scrolling, but just won't do 5 minutes of reading a book, or probably can't even read a book. They don't have the attention span. You know, so it's like, I mean, it's advantageous. This world is based upon, like, this country is capitalistic. This country is based upon winning and losing.
Yep.
Winning and losing. And you can't help everybody.
Mhm.
I want to help a lot of people. That's my purpose. Like, I met David Goggins when I was in Colorado, and I see how his life changed and how much he gives back to people, millions and millions of people, whether he sees you or not. That's what I want to do. I want to be able to teach. I got homeboys who reach a lot of guys more than girls. Like, guys will reach out to me and ask me what they want to do next in life and how to do it. Man, I help it. Like, you know, I get the random DMs in my general where I may not necessarily see it unless I stumble upon it. I'm not one of those dudes that's like, you got to pay me. Like, you know, like a consultant or something. Like, no, like, I can come up with a message and teach. I've had guys who call me 2 hours. You know what I'm saying? And I try to integrate it where it's like, I'm in Miami traffic. Cool, call me now. Or I'm working from home. Call me when I'm working and woo, ask your questions. Because I love being able to give back to them because it reminds me why I'm still doing what I'm doing. Mm. And I think when you brought up, you know, the Bible and stuff like that, what separated, I grew up in a Catholic household, New Orleans, I grew up in a Catholic household, but my purpose is bigger than my faith. Because what more can I ask from God? I have both my legs and both my arms. I can see out my eyes. Why would I ask more from him? Why would I pray to God about a girl that don't want to talk to me, a job that won't hire me, some food on the table? You have the means to get it all. So instead of me because then you're asking God what everybody else's problem that's going on, why pay attention to me? Why am I that important where your own son was begging for your forgiveness and begging for you to help him? He died. So I'm not dying right now. So why would I ask for help? That's kind of like, if you really think about it, like I only talk to God for gratefulness. When I wake up in the morning, I'm glad my eyes are open and I can wake up beside my dogs, go get some money. And then when I go to sleep, I pray to God, say, thank you for my day, no matter what happened. Thank you for today. Because I know a lot of people who lift their head from their bed don't get a chance to put it back down. You know? So like, I never, like, my purpose is way bigger than faith. And what I mean by that, like, I'm not atheist or anything like that. But what I mean by that is, it's like, I'm willing to sit here and say, everything's glass half full. This problem that I have is my fault, but that's a good problem to have. You can't escape a problem. Like, everybody who's sitting there wondering, like, oh, I want to fix this problem. I'm going to tell you, since being down here in Miami, you want to know the size of a man, it's the size of his problems. Like, look at the president. You got to run this whole country. Look at somebody who live with their parents. Your problem is no one wants to talk to you. You ain't got no money. No girl wants to talk to you. But then imagine you like a guy who has a whole bunch of money. You got your own businesses. That's a big problem to have. You gotta run businesses, watch a whole bunch of people. You can't run away from a problem. Pick a problem you want. Find a problem that you're willing to have, whether it's raise a family, have that bad girl that's with you that wants to be catered, or find a problem to have and deal with that problem. Because you cannot, I don't care how hard you try. I don't think that's a scenario I can really think of for a man where you won't have a problem at all. Like, even if like you about to die, your problem is you about to die. That's a problem. You about to leave people you love for the rest of your life, or for the rest of their lives. So yeah, I'm always happy about life. I'm always happy about life at all times.
This man is cooking right now. He's cooking right now. Listen, oh man, wow, you dropping some gems. My purpose is bigger than my faith. That one hit. That one hit. Because how you articulated it is interesting. And it makes sense. Like, man, I only talk that, and I say something very similar. People are like, man, just pray about it, do this, do that. And I'm like, man, nah, I only pray to say, thanks. I only pray to say, keep me going. The problems that I started, I gotta fix them. I have the means to fix them. Yeah. I gotta figure it out now. He gave me the ability to wake up and do it again. Yeah. Try it again. Fail again. Win again. Just go for it. And so now I really do like that, man. And so now, with that being said, you going for your master's degree and graduating and doing all of this. What made you choose business?
I chose business, if I'm being honest, because it was a safe degree that allowed me to get any job. Fun fact, both of the jobs I've worked had nothing to do with my degree.
Really?
Nah, nothing to do with my degree. Like we talking about like if I were to tell you a person's going to get a degree for nursing, why would I apply for boating? Or why would I apply for a job that's like a teacher? Like, you're going to be a nurse. Like, you expect that out of them. Me being business, that is so well-rounded. It allows me, like, it looks good on paper, but it allows me to apply for really anything. Because what most people don't know, 90% of jobs that have an analyst attached to it, business is also the front word. So when they look at your degree and they see business, context clues. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, again, this is the EQ part of it. I have been so successful. There's a study that just came out where it said that this is the highest number of Harvard grads, recent grads, who can't get a job. It was like some whopping number of like 68% or something like that. And I've, knock on wood, I've never had a problem getting a job. It takes me every single time 3 months, both of the jobs. And that's because I work in an unorthodox way. So they teach us how to use TikTok, Instagram, and all that stuff. Nah, LinkedIn. And it's a finesse. And what I mean, it's a finesse where it's like, I'm sitting there reaching out to people, elevator pitching, but I'm getting like, I'm trying to connect with them at that company. And if numbers, right? If I send out 40 elevator pitches, invites, and only 3 of them responded back and accepted me, now I got 2 people on my side that if I go for more at that same company, they see, oh, somebody already knows them. I'm more likely to connect back with him. You let the numbers keep going up. Man, the job I got right now, I reached out to my VP after I had like 6 connects. The VP responded to me, put my resume first, and I ended up having boom review. What was it called? What's the word? Not reviews, interviews. And then out of nowhere, 2 weeks later, I got the job.
Wow. Just
that fast. All because the VP was like, well, I'll oversee all y'all. If I'm recommending him, y'all need to look at him.
Yeah. But
that's because I had everybody else connecting. The VP just felt, more inclined to reach back out to me.
So for, let's break this down for the people that might be watching this that do have some of these issues with your elevator pitch, because I couldn't even tell you what the job were. My last job was 2010.
Yeah, I'm trying to be like that. I'm trying to be like that where it's like no more W-2s. Yeah, for sure.
So it's like, okay, cool. I wouldn't even know what to do. And so I'm sure there's a lot of people in my position the same way that might want to go back for a job, or people that just young and they, just like you said, 68% graduate and still can't find within their degree or whatever. And so what do you put in your elevator pitches to really put yourself in the front and get these kind of connections?
So what I do is so I use LinkedIn. One thing definitely need to have is LinkedIn Premium. All right, the same way we feel about people we see with blue chicks on their Instagram, it's the same way people on LinkedIn feel about LinkedIn Premium. That means you take it serious. That means you're willing to put that money in and have this. It's like a gold, like it's literally like it's like a gold LinkedIn symbol, right? And it allows you to have access to more things, which is already crazy enough. It allows you to say more in the elevator pitch. It allows you to reach out to more people per month. All the good incentives to keep it. And it's usually like 50% off. It's $30 standard. $30. When people ask me, oh, why would I pay for that? Okay, did you go out to eat? How much was your last meal? Oh, about $35, $36 with tips. Okay, and where's that food now? Oh, probably in the toilet somewhere. Well, that $30 that you just took a crap out of, you could put towards this LinkedIn Premium for 1 month, and that can get you more money. That's just common sense. That's how I'm thinking. So you get the LinkedIn Premium. And the elevator pitch I have, so I graduated from 2 schools. It's like characters. It's like if you have the premium at the time, it's like 150 characters, so it's not a lot. But that's what elevator pitch is. You in the elevator, you got a certain amount of seconds to convince this person to listen to you. And I would just sit there and be like, good morning, good afternoon, their name. If you say their name, they're more likely to respond because it's like you took the time out the day to respect who they are. And then underneath, I'm just like, my name is Rolla Williams, or whoever your name is. I'm a graduate from my 2 schools, University of Richmond. I would say UR because it's, something small. UR 21 and then ACU 2024. And then I'm interested in this position at like whatever the name is at such company. Can you give me some insights on the interview? Ask for insights. Everybody will not respond. But there's somebody who's having a good day, good heart. Like I said, the probability who's going to be like, usually what they say is like, oh, this is what the position does, et cetera, et cetera. And sometimes I get lucky with it, be like, send me your resume. I know the hiring manager. I know like who you need to talk to. I will just give them to them if your resume look good. And then you just walked in the door. You just walked in the door. And then now it's like interview wise, kill it. Fun fact, when I was going through job hunting, all I had was like those 2 times, all I had was 1 interview. And I got the job with both of them. I didn't need multiple interviews. Like I got like that 1 and then the 2nd and 3rd, and then I killed it, got the job. I didn't need a whole nother company's interview. Take appreciation of the one you get because you may not get a second one. And for people that's asking who obviously they don't want to work on W-2, they want to be like you and be a business. I got a job because I went to college for free. I had my degree paid for and I went to college for free. And since I went to college for free, I have these degrees that allows me to make a salary, consistent job, work from home job with insurance, healthcare, and all that stuff. I would be foolish to just be like, I'm too good for that. I don't need to work that. That's dumb. You're going to need to make money to get what y'all got going on because you got to allocate the funds
100%.
to get a good credit score, take the loans out. Like you need money coming in because it doesn't pop off immediately. So I use my degrees to get jobs that are, because I have a master's, high paying, jobs that allow me to be able to allocate towards my side ventures. That's it. Like if I had it any other way, I wouldn't have done it, obviously, because a lot of people probably don't want to work a 9 to 5.
True.
But again, like I'm using a 9 to 5 for what it needs to be used for.
Leveraging your situation.
Leveraging my situation. Like I used my last 9 to 5 to afford me to come move down to Miami. Using this 9 to 5 to afford the stuff I want to do here in Miami. Like, just don't be dumb about it. So yeah, like it's what gets me. And I tell them about the whole college thing, but then you got these guys that sell you courses. It's like, be an online coach, you can figure this out. For all you guys that are sitting out there and you need some help on what to do, and you see these influencers who make their money off of telling you, don't go to college. One, go to college. If you really don't know what college you go to or what you want to do in college, go to a junior college. Not only is it the cheapest option, but it's 2 years. You could figure it out. And if you don't like it, that's just 2 years. That's the risk you want to take to get better at EQ and intelligence. Second thing on top of that is if you're using it correctly and you get a degree out of it, now you can sit there and apply for a job that's going to give you more money. You're going to get more money in the back end that's going to pay for all that. So it's like if you want a car, if you want to move locations, you need money. And it's like, you could work a blue collar job for sure. I've always had blue collar jobs, whether it was working at a furniture store or working at, DoorDash, working at, Night Stalkers. They don't pay more than these white collar jobs. So if you get a degree and get a white collar job, you're making more money than most blue collar workers without killing yourself. One white collar job is the same as 2 blue collar jobs. Yeah, you can work 2-3 jobs, but you ain't got time. I got time to be here right now because I'm also not working on a Saturday, so use your head. Don't listen to everybody that try to sell you a course.
and I can honestly say, if I had to put it from that perspective, that I wouldn't be here where I am today without college, literally. Like, and that's not even like because I'm not an advocate for college, but I understand the leverage that college can get me. So I was in the military, Marine Corps. And after I got out, they pay you to go to college.
Yeah.
Literally, there's a check. Like, I didn't even understand what the GI Bill was at the time, but somebody hit me up and I had moved straight to Florida from Cali. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have no friends, no family out here. I'm living with this shorty I was dating at the time. And she was a handful, Armenian chick, she was
man.
A lot,
okay.
Kardashian. And so she wanted the 4 or 5 star. I'm like, yo, I don't got the bread.
Yeah, you got the bread.
I just got out the military.
Don't even know how to tell them no.
You know what I'm saying? Just leave me alone.
And that's a whole nother thing we could talk about. Yeah.
All right. So I'm processing life. I like anime. I like, turning up. I'm a gamer. I was playing League of Legends at the time, semi-pro. So I had my Twitch affiliate. I had everything. I was running people through there. I was coaching on League of Legends, the game, all of that stuff. Like, I was making money that way.
Yeah.
And she could not understand that life. And so she's like, man, you got to go get a real job and do this and do that. And so I do thank her.
Yeah.
Because low-key, she was my catalyst to really figuring out what the GI Bill was. And when I read more on it, they're like, yeah, you choose whatever you want. And the more you go to, the more we pay for. And I was like, what does that mean? And so I get on the phone with somebody and they were like, yeah, the most you can get is if you do a double major. They said that's going to take all your time, though.
Yeah.
But if you do it, we're going to flood you. And so they paid me like $3-4 grand just to go to school,
just to pick one,
just to do it.
Yeah.
I said, oh Lord. And I said, no, life changed now. And so I went for arts at first because I didn't care. I said, I'm gonna choose the easiest degree possible.
Yeah.
Arts.
Yeah.
What I do.
Yeah.
Color
liberal
or
arts,
shoot, pictures, whatever. I said, cool, And during one of my random electives in Broward College, I had this lady that taught a psychology class. Blew my mind up.
Okay.
Like, absolutely blew my mind up. I was already dealing with stuff coming out of the military, and she just put life in such a perspective for me that it was like, yo, what?
Yeah.
And that's when I told them,
That's
I need a psychology degree.
Yeah, that's what you need.
I need that psychology
being able to
degree.
read
And
people's
so
minds and stuff.
they were like, okay, cool. You know, we could put you in here, blah, blah. But now you got to go towards FAU route and this and that. And so I kept arts and psych. And I went there. And if I hadn't gone there, I wouldn't have met Dan. Literally. Dan is how we started our first company. Because he had it literally off the reason of he sat next to me and he had a camera. That was it. He sat next to me and he had a camera.
But y'all both had the same mindset. Like y'all had the same like thoughts on what y'all wanted.
I wouldn't even say we had the same mindset. I would say we had the same vision of more.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because we were at a state of our lives where we were dealing with loss. Like we didn't have the money. Literally. Like it just wasn't it. And I ended up going on this music video set because I'm in an arts degree. So I was doing acting classes and all of this stuff. And it was about 6 hours of Khalil Matthew. He came on this podcast too. Shout out to Khalil. He invited me on this music video set, which was his cousin's set. And it was a feature video with Rick Ross. We didn't get to see Rick Ross. They shot his scenes already and everything, but it was Dre Films, who was the main videographer for Rick Ross at the time. I'm running around on this basketball court 6 hours for $250 in the heat, sweating, retaking the same scene because the guy, the main character of the video, has to make a certain shot or whatever. And so they're like, redo it until he makes this type of shot for the shot, whatever, blah, blah. And I'm like, man, I'm sweating. They behind the camera chilling. And so I go over there, I'm gonna ask him, like, man, how much y'all getting paid for something like this? You know, whatever. He was like, oh, this is not anything crazy or anything big. You know, this is about like 40,000. I said, whoa. We in the same place.
He said, he said nothing big.
We in the same place at the same time. I'm making $250. You're making 40,000. Something's wrong with that dynamic.
Disconnect. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I had always already had an entrepreneurial mindset. My first LLC was 2011, and so it was just failed businesses up until then. It was network marketing up until then. And I had made some money out of it, but it wasn't mine. Yeah. And so that's when I'm like, yo, I'm making money in all of these other things that aren't mine. I want to make something that's for me. And then that's where Dan had a camera in his closet that he refused to use. If you ask him, he'll tell a different story. You know, but I didn't make money like that. You know what I'm saying? I didn't have a camera at the time. Yeah. And so we leveraged his camera to get to the next level. And fast forward, you know, there's like 54 contractors, employees in that business now. You know, and that wouldn't have happened without college. Is you know, what all of that goes back to. And so I always tell people, like, get the experience of it, because no matter what, you'll get something different from it. Some people go to college and they get the frat life. Some people go to college, they use degrees to their advantage. Some people go to college, they meet people that have relationships that take wherever their life is going to go to the next level. But the root of it all is still college.
Because, I mean, like, there was you've heard of Pivot, right? The podcast Pivot. So you saw like Anthony Mackie was on there. He had said something that, like, I've been telling people this so many times, that, you know, life is not like life is not earned. Like you don't earn something; it's just given to you. And I'm telling you, that's what it is. Like especially college football, for example. You tell me you got all these kids and you chose me to get the scholarship. I'm truly not even the best option. I'm just happen to be the best one you see in front of you. You know, so you could sit there, because if people believe that working hard is how you become successful, the janitor will be the richest person in the company. You know, it's not about how hard you work. It's about what you're putting in front of you. That's why I moved here. I've been a fitness person like crazy since I was young. Like, if you look at my Instagram page, YouTube page, I do the craziest workouts you've never seen. Like, I got a video that I just posted of another crazy workout. I'm sitting there doing, I told you, the box jumps. I did a video where I'm sitting there on my knees with a barbell, 45-pound plates on the side, jumping off the ground, you know, from my knees, or like jumping on a box with 225 on a 30-inch box. Like, I'm just doing insane workouts, but I'm doing all that to catch like the attention. I wouldn't have never met Dom had I not did them crazy workouts. But I was doing that in Colorado. No one cared. Matter of fact, they told me to stop doing it because it was just like no one else is doing it. You need to stop. So I'm like, oh, Miami, it's kind of an egocentrical, location. Everyone wants a camera up in front of them. Everybody wants to do something that's crazy. So I'm like, cool. And I go choose some random gym. Ironically, it's owned by A-Rod. So I'm like, all right, celebrities are probably around here. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not going around like, hey, no. I'm just like, do a crazy workout every single day. And someone's probably going to come up to you and be like, what are you doing? That's how I met Dom. And if it wasn't for Dom, I wouldn't be here right now.
Facts.
And he's, oh man, that's my guy. I support everything he's got going on. His story's crazy, but like, for sure, like if you never put yourself in those environments, like I really don't understand guys that are introverted. I don't understand that. You're literally handicapping yourself. Like as a man, like I know this is like a really jaded topic right now, but it's like masculinity itself is like kind of seen as a cut in half. And what I mean is cut in half is like, instead of letting it be full force, like how you would, like I said, how it was in college football as a gladiator and stuff like that. There's one thing a lot of people don't understand about this. College athletes are the most targeted for a reason, especially college football players, basketball and football players, because they're the most masculine people. They're the ones that walk on campus and they're the biggest ones on campus. Brothers, they're the biggest ones. Everybody gawking at them. They're a sight to behold. Basketball players 6'7" walking around on campus, 6'3" buff football player. And they're scared of you. For right or wrong reasons, they're scared of you. So they're the most targeted, because when things don't go your way, you're not playing, you got a bad injury, you're vulnerable. That girl, I hate to say this, those girls know this too. They manipulate you. And it's not necessarily a bad thing in the sense of like shame on them. That's how they gotta get theirs.
Facts.
I got a baby sister. I wouldn't have her wasting her time with no scrub that ain't got nothing going for himself. No, Sage, that's her name, Sage. Don't waste your youth, your prime, your prettiest years on a guy still trying to figure it out. No, go for the top athlete. Go for the ones that's about to hit the jackpot. Don't waste your time. Just play it smart. But they know. Because if I were to ask you, majority of women, are they physically stronger than men?
Nah.
They're not. But they've survived just as long as us, if not longer than us, since the dawn of time. Why? Because they know how to emotionally control us. They know how to get away with words. If you look at any folklore, any type, you say I watch anime and all that stuff, and also probably read books. You look at any folklore, any type of, like I like Greek mythology. The women characters, they're always something that's seductive.
Yeah, Medusa, all of that.
Succubus, sirens, and that's not physical traits that why they're seductive. It's their elegance, their beauty, and all that stuff, because they know, okay, mating calls or whatever, to get a man, you have to be able to say certain words, look him in the eye. And that's why I tell dudes go to college, because the real world women, man, they'll flag you down to take everything out of your pockets because they got to survive for real. College is kind of light work. It's like, she might hurt you hard. She might make you cry. And then you go back to your dorm and you see her every day. And you like, damn, bro, she with my homeboy. She dating, my teammate. That's nothing. That's nothing. I'd have been there.
Israel Adesanya.
Yeah, that's
what he just dealt with.
Hey.
That's crazy. Yeah. And he won by literal luck, because they only dated for a year.
Right.
She tried to break up and take him for half of everything
man,
that he owned.
And you saw what happened with Xavier Worthy?
Nah.
Football player for the Chiefs. His girl, he proposed to her and everything, made it crazy. The first rounder for the Chiefs this past year, right? The fast receiver that broke the record.
Okay.
She got caught cheating because he hired a private investigator behind her. She got caught cheating, but people thought he was hitting on her. The real story came out. She couldn't accept getting booted out the house because he's like, you cheating, leave. That she was hitting him and he was defending himself. Wow. But everyone was quick to think, anytime you hear fist flying, the dude had to hit her.
Yeah.
And it's like, we know the situation. Like me, I think so far in my future that it's like back then, I don't try to put myself in those situations. As much as I can control, I'm a guy, especially if you're pulling girls and all that stuff, you try to control. But I have seen the absolute worst. I have seen dudes' lives change. I have seen dudes who sit there and give a girl the world and she just play them like a fiddle. Damn. Like, and even me, man, I've had, most people ask me like, oh, why do you feel so strong about this relationship? I've had my heart broken for sure. Like I've had my heart broken where I gave it all to a girl. Like I'm a sucker. I grew up on the 80s, 90s music, Jodeci, Usher, Chris Brown. I grew up on that type of music where it's like, you want to, court a woman, but it's like the dynamic of how it is now. A lot of people don't know this word, but I've heard it can be where like women are looking for the best they can get. And it's really bad down here in Miami. Don't get it started.
Say that word again.
Hypergamy.
Hypergamy.
Yeah, if anybody look at
that's the lesson of the day.
Yeah, hypergamy. Nah, yeah. So that's like the ability to go for better. Usually that don't happen for us. If you really think about it, we go for a girl who ain't got no job, ain't got no money. She just look good and we willing to spend money on her. So we ain't got hypergamy. She might be a little bit on the bigger side or a little bit on the too skinny side. We just love her. Hypergamy doesn't really connect with us like that. Versus women, that's how they survive. Why would they be with a scrub? They want to, have the best. We live in Miami. Girls literally come down here looking for fun. Like, they don't come down here looking for no wholesome man. I've met some girls down here who are just like, oh, I'm just here for a trip. What's up with this weekend? And then as soon as this weekend go past, they never see you again. They act like they never see you again. And it's like, that's just the name of the game. Some guys ask me like, why don't you date Miami? Are you serious? Date in Miami? Boy, you come down and dudes never, like, they don't go to college, so they don't experience it in college, or they go to a small college, then they don't visit places like this. They don't understand it because as long as they have social media, they have access. I've dated girls or talked to girls who would just get hit on by like the richest guys. Or matter of fact, they would just slide in a DM as a joke. NFL player, dude respond, now they getting flown out. And I have homegirls who tell me these stories and I'm like, dude, like how can dudes compete with that?
Yeah.
And they thinking, oh, I'm gonna do everything I can. She's still gonna leave. She's still gonna leave. Like the fact that you got to convince her she's still gonna leave. And there's nothing wrong with that. Get your heart broken, learn the lesson. The sad thing about it is I've seen some dudes not learn it correctly. They would assault, stalk, even take lies and stuff. I've seen it all. But it's like, I told you, it's winners and losers in life. So it's like some people just will never learn it. But it's like, there are people that are so afraid of learning it that it's gonna hit even harder. I see the writing on the wall. Like, people talk about red flags and stuff like that. Whenever you drive a car and you're about to come up, the green light turning yellow, right? And then it goes to red. You get a yellow light. What does that yellow light mean?
Caution.
Caution. That's yield. You know how many times we talk to a girl, we get the caution light, but we still keep driving? So when you keep driving past that caution, what's the chances you're risking? The red light come on, somebody could hit you. Police pull you over. You might get lucky and get past that red light.
Yeah.
You might not get lucky. Or you blow them brakes and now your brakes messed up because you did it last minute. It's the same thing we do with a girl. We see the yellow signs all the time. She say something crazy. She do something crazy. I've had a girl one time who gave me the biggest caution sign down here. She had said something about like, her friends are like men haters. Whole chest. You're lucky we like you. I like you because I'm a man hater. Me and my friends are man haters. But I text my cousin was with me. I text my cousin. I said, don't let me go home with her. I'm drunk. Like, don't let me go home with her. You know what I'm saying? And I didn't. He stood in that car, waited on me and everything. He's like, nah, bro, you can come home. I stopped talking to her. The next, I was like, do you remember what you said? It's like, yeah, because of my experiences with other guys and stuff like that. I'm like, so I've never met them. And I didn't know you before that. But because of what they did, I got to get the bad action of it. And most dudes won't do that. They won't cut a girl whether they attached to, you know what I'm saying, the girl, what she got going on. And I'm like, nah, bro, it ain't that deep. Let her go. Cause it's gonna be way worse.
And now I understand why you have those Akatsuki tattoos. You and your villain era.
Villain arc, no. I don't want to be a bad guy. No, cause my biggest issue is like when it comes to relationship and women, bro, I love my biggest problem is I love tricking on girls. I love tricking on girls. I'll sit there, I'll pay for a flight.
You in the wrong state.
Oh, I know, but no. But what's funny is I'm very peculiar about the type of girls I would do that for. Like I'm not saying I would aim, right? But if I see a girl's like, let's say for example, Memphis or New Orleans.
So what's your type?
If I had a type.
You have one. You definitely have one. Don't try to do that. If I had a type, what's your type, man?
Light skin, curly hair.
See, and I knew it. I said he's gonna say curly hair, and he probably gonna say
light skin. It's bad. So I've never been in a situation where I'm talking or courting a girl who is taller than me. Man, it just does. So I'm like, when you really, and this is why I tell dudes all the time, get that EQ, go to college and stuff like that, learn how to talk to girls, because this is a blessing that I have. I won't even front to you. Being able to go up to a girl, no matter where you at. Like, I'm gonna tell you this, I make this a game. I holler at girls even if I know they're gonna say no. I make it a game, especially down here in Miami. Like when I go to the gym or when I go to like a bar or whatever, I shoot just because. My homeboys laugh at me when we go out because it's just like, look at this boy roll. But I'm not shooting just like, oh, hey, some stupid joke or whatever. No, like I'm actually like, and I pool.
You and your villain arc.
But
it's okay. I understand.
I'm in my sage mode path right now. I'm trying to stop pain. I'm trying to stop the pain from coming. I'm trying to save everyone and stop the pain. There's a difference. I'm Naruto going through his sage. Like, okay, if you'd ask me what my favorite anime is, right?
Yeah.
My favorite anime, obviously, it's on my body is Naruto. But let me tell you why. The reason why Naruto is my favorite anime is not some crazy cliche thing. Naruto, from the jump of the show, was telling everybody exactly what he was going to do. I'm going to become Hokage.
Facts.
I'm going to become Hokage. And nobody cared. They only cared when he proved it.
When he was started.
No. And not even just that. How many times throughout the show did he low-key prove it? Against Gaara? Stopping Orochimaru? I mean, Pain arc was when he really kind of showed it, but he really had to save everyone in the Shinobi War before people took him actually serious. That's life as a man. You could tell everybody, dudes who would post on their Instagram, whatever, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. Nobody cares. Just do it. If you're not useful, and not even just useful like, oh, I'm a mechanic. Well, if I don't have a car, I don't care that you're a mechanic. I don't give a damn. But if you're so useful that people need you, then you'll be loved. Then you'll get unconditional love. Or not even unconditional, you met the conditions. That's how the whole premise of Naruto was. He was literally born from the greatest shinobi at the time in the area, and they still didn't care. He had the strongest tailed beast inside him, and they still didn't care. What use are you to me, Naruto? He had to save them from a war and become Hokage before they gave a damn. That's how it is as a man. That's how it is with women. That's how it is with your family. That's how it is with any of your problems. That's how it is with your homeboy, and that's how it should be. Because you should want to be useful. I don't understand people who don't like being useful. I don't understand it. I love, like, back to the girl thing, I love when girls ask me for like advice or they want to complain to me about their problems. I love it. Back then, like, guys, I had my mistakes. Back then, I used to think like, damn, like, why are you always crying? Why are you always, because I didn't realize that I was useful to them. Now, when people ask me for advice, that's my purpose again, right? Imagine the day where no one asks you for nothing. Your phone never rings. No one calls you for nothing. You know how sad you'll be?
I don't think I'd be that sad.
No, I mean, if you think about it, right, like, you know, you got your boy. Y'all have always had this business since what you said 2010, since the last time you worked a job. So you've been useful, extremely useful, right? And then people reach out to you to come on here. You've been extremely useful. You know, most people have never had that feeling. They've never had someone reach out to them and say, "Hey, brother, can I work with you on something?" And it's like with the girl thing, it's even worse for women because they just like, if you're really not useful, they'll have a dude that's he a cooker, trick on me, sex. Like they'll have a spot for everything for a dude. They'll have a rotation.
So, you know, and so now this is where I could get the old buck to young buck experience kind of vibe.
Shit.
You know what I'm saying?
All right,
And so in like a correlation, I used to think exactly what you're thinking.
Okay.
I want to be useful to people. And that transitioned at a point in my life where I got taken out the picture.
What you
crashed one time. I crashed my car. Bad accident.
Okay.
And this is when we got the company already. I'm running everything, but I'm the face. I couldn't be the face at that time. Body banged up, jammed up. I wasn't getting sleep. I was up for like 4 days. Got taken out the picture. I instantly became not useful. Right? And then that wasn't the catalyst. I went right back to doing the same thing again right after because I ain't learned my lesson. Then I got pneumonia. And that one set me back even more because I was down for like 2 months. And so I was like, man, a couple of people hit me up, you know, first week, couple weeks, maybe even 3 weeks. After that, started going down.
Declining.
You know, started declining a little bit because my usefulness was attached to my physicality.
You being there.
And so in a physical world, I said, I can't do this if I want longevity. And so now we're talking generational wealth. Now we're talking legacy. How can Walmart still be a thing? And the guy who created it died a long time ago.
Ain't even around, yeah.
That's his family. You know what I'm saying? And so
his kids running it.
I transitioned my usefulness to my business. I don't need people to know me. That's egocentric.
Yeah, for sure.
When we put ourselves in position to be like, okay, cool. People have to know me. This is my business. This is me doing this and that, blah, blah. You only get but so far because your business is now directly attached to you, and anything can happen.
You got
You know, we live in a world of bad drivers, drunk drivers, mass shooters, even, you know, terrorists, even, all of those type of things. And same way I'm here today, God forbid, I'll be gone tomorrow.
Yeah.
And so what can I do that leaves something where I'm still there? It's not me in the physical, but it's me in the spiritual. It's me in the creation.
Yep.
That's my business, you know? And so I started structuring my business that way. So if nobody hit me up directly, my business is still getting hit up. My purpose is still being fulfilled. It's just being fulfilled differently.
Yep.
And so now I have a different type of peace of mind because I could be on an island. Now you don't have to hit me up to use me. You can just hit me up to talk. I become human again. And there's serenity in humanity.
Yeah.
Just existing, just having conversation. Just, hey man, you know, how's your day? How's this? How's that? Because as kids, that's our most innocent form, right?
Yeah.
We're not talking about business. We're not talking about being useful as a kid to somebody.
Yeah.
We're talking about living.
Yeah.
And oftentimes when we focus on too much other things or new things, we don't focus on living anymore. So that's my take on it. I think I'd enjoy it because it brings a certain level of serenity to your life.
So you think that definitely comes from age? Yeah. Cause you know, I ain't gonna lie. People ask for this all the time about my relationships and stuff like that. And I'm like, ask me in 10 years. Ask me in 10 years. Right now, the last thing on my mind is relationship.
100%. It's gonna change.
And I know it's gonna change. You know, would I settle down right now? No. No, I don't even care about settling.
And you shouldn't.
And then I tell people all the time, it's like, you know, they be like, I'm like, have you ever seen a girl that's in college settle? And they're just like, what you mean by that? I'm like, they got a rotation of dudes. Like, you got the top athlete might holler at them, the top geek might holler at them. I'm like, they don't even know how to handle it. And I'm like, because most guys have never been in that situation, I just started getting a taste of it. Because, you know, people say I live in Miami and stuff like that. I got the confidence to just holler at whoever. And it's like, are you telling me I need to relax now? I could just imagine when everything pop off and I'm in my 30s. You know what I'm saying? And it's that's not what I'm striving for, but it's like, that's the access thing where it's like, you trying to tell me I got access to this and all of a sudden I got to revert back to factory settings.
Oh yeah.
Come on, man. That don't even make no sense, man.
Life is definitely different because even with women, what the conversation starts to turn into, and I wouldn't even just say women. I'm not even gonna go and give just women that luxury, you know, because it's the world.
Yeah.
And the world is your take on dealing with somebody else is directly influenced by how you change their mind.
Yep.
And I learned that in psychology. And so if a woman, because you got to look at some of these old school stories, man, high school sweethearts, married 30, 40, 50, 60 years. So it's possible.
Yeah.
You know, athletes that went into the NBA, LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron and his wife.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Held it down. Yeah.
Solid. You know, there's these instances, but people have to look at what caused these instances. He didn't just change their vision of the time and just like, oh, I see him being a big player and I want to attach myself. They changed that person's mind.
Yeah.
And with that mindset shift, you know, it becomes powerful. And so right now, I say enjoy your life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And don't get too powerful too soon.
Yeah. Oh, and that's another. I appreciate the fact that this has been like. Imagine why you think so many athletes you go make it to the NFL, MLB, or whatever. They be the ones who screw it all up. That's just because how can you tell a 19, 20-year-old to handle the access to women? Like if I came out of high school and went to University of Miami, FAU, FIU. I probably had like 5 kids, but I ain't gonna front to you. You know what I'm saying? Like I probably did some wicked stuff, but I went through the levels to where now in Miami, I'm desensitized. Like a lot of dudes, like whenever I post a video, I post videos of me and my workouts and I'm in the gym and stuff like that. There are baddies everywhere. BBL, like 5 in the morning, 1 o'clock PM. Like there are baddies all over my gym. And a lot of the dudes will always swipe up on my story and they're sitting there saying like, bro, look at that girl right there. Look at that girl right there. I'm like, that's the last thing on my mind, bro. I swear. I think I probably hollered at 2 girls at my gym since I've been down here. Like you really don't even care. Cause it's like, you kind of realize it's like, oh, they're everywhere. They're literally like, there's like you, oh, she told me no, turn around. Like if I really want to holler at a girl, I really want to like talk to some fine shit, go to Target. Get you a little haircut, go to Target. I have yet to see anything lower than a 9 at Target. With
Really?
or without a boyfriend. I mean, in the standards of like most guys. You know, most guys like here in Miami, a 7 here is like a 10 in like Houston.
Nah, 7 here is not that good.
7 here compared to out of the city?
Nah, a 7 is a 7.
But I'm just saying, like, in comparison, like a 10, for example, like if I were to holler at a 10 in Memphis, that girl probably like a 5 here.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying.
I see what you're doing.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay,
so like, the like, you know, me being desensitized is because like, yes, they are a 7, right? But what I'm saying is, one of my homeboys who look at my story, who's not from here, who lives in Kansas.
That's like when you go to Colombia. The guys in Colombia don't see all the baddies out there as baddies. They walk past them every day like, all right, whatever.
Because they use, but how many times you tell them, what do they call them, the passport bros?
Yeah.
They go down to Colombia and I'm trying to wipe her. And those Colombian men are like, what?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. To us, that 7 is a 7.
Yeah.
So you're right. That's saying that 7 is a 7. But anywhere else, perspective wise, they'll think that's the baddest thing ever. And I'm like, dude, get a grip. Come down here and live here for like a few days. Like, nah, bro, you tweaking.
You got to do one of those videos like first day in Miami, Florida. You know, 1 month in Miami, Florida.
A year later.
A year in Miami, Florida.
Because I ain't gonna lie, like one of the first things I did when I moved down here, you know, I had to update. Like you got to fit the location, right? I was never type of flashy person. I did like the basic flash. Well, I've always wanted slugs. Man, I got me some slugs.
Oh, you got to.
Gotta give it some slugs. You gotta fit in. You got me some slugs. Updated my wardrobe a little bit better. You know, now I got a little money, you know, a little bit more money and stuff like that. Updated my wardrobe. But then it's like, it's funny because the girls here still don't care.
They don't care.
They don't. They literally see like gold platinum cards
everywhere,
every day. Especially because, you know, you're thinking bartenders, oh, they don't know nothing. Please, I can't tell you how these bartenders be making more money than most guys.
Bro, it was the most humbling experiences back in the day, you know, and I ain't spend as much as my dog. You know, I'm gonna tell his story because his is more dramatic. He said, bro, I went to the club, man. And, you know, in my city, he's from Philly. He a big guy. He like 6'3", 400 pounds.
Okay, okay.
Let's say he's like, man, I walk in there, got a little 10 stack on me. He's like, man, I come to Miami. You know, I'm sitting there. We ball in the club now. He said, the girl take all the money, throw it up in the air. And she said, what's next? He said,
what's next? I thought that was, I thought we were going to make it last.
You know what I'm saying? He said, what's next? Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And they didn't even blink.
And they don't, and they'll switch up on you the very next moment.
And he was like, that moment, his life changed.
Yeah, and it's and that's cool, man. Like I was actually shy the first week I was here. My homeboy, who we all went out with some girls or whatever, and the first week here I was actually shy because I didn't know how to holler at the girls here. Because again, in my head, I'm thinking like, dang, these are the prettiest girls I've ever seen, and I'm just like, what do I do? How do I holler at them? I learned real fast. I'm glad I did because I love talking to girls. I love going to clubs. I don't even, if I were to pay for a drink, I'm paying. I think I bought a total of 2 girls drinks since I've been down here. And it's usually I'm getting drinks. And that's just because you just kind of play the game and finesse it. And you need one, you pregame beforehand. But it's at the same time where it's like dudes will sit there and buy 4, 5, 6, 7 drinks. A girl and all her friends. And these drinks are expensive down here. I went to Mardi Gras a couple weeks ago. And I'm in New Orleans. Man, we down there on Canal Street. And there was some vendors that were selling alcohol. And I was like, oh, how much the shots? $3. Give me 21.
Facts.
Give me $21 right here. Give me 7 right now. For me and these couple girls right here. I'm drinking with some girls or whatever. Like, what? One shot in Miami, $20
Facts.
for the same thing.
Facts.
Nah, bro. Nah. You tweaking. I'm like, that's perspective change. And it's like, I don't talk to girls down here. You know, I'd rather, and I like keeping a distance because since women strive for security, they strive for provision, they come in your space, they will slow you down.
Oh, 100%.
I don't blame them. Let's get that disclaimer out. I don't blame them, but they will slow you down. And the reason why they'll slow you down is because they don't think like you. They naturally don't think conquer. They thinking they find what they looking for and settle with this. So if you're trying to keep your business going, like I had one shorty when I was writing my book. This is when I realized a lot of dudes have never felt this type of love. That's when I really realized a girl that truly adores you, that like nothing you do is the wrong answer. She just loves everything you got going on. She was a youngin' too. She was a young girl. I met her when I was in my college. She treated me so well. It allowed me to, when I wrote my book, I finished in 4 months. From cover to cover, 500 pages. And that's because every day she was just like, I want to read a chapter every day. Like an episode from a TV series. And I'm like, who am I to fail you? Who am I to not show up to what you just requested? So I did it. And by the time the book was over with, guess what? I had a whole book done. And she read every chapter with enthusiasm. Most guys have never had girls be enthusiastic towards them. They never had that light in their eyes. You know, of a girl looking at them. And like I said, like me being taller than most girls, like when I'm sitting there courting, it's hypnotic. They looking you up in your eyes and they just staring deep in your eyes. Make your move, boy. Convince me that you know what you're doing. And when I get those eye looks, that's why I spend my game. That's when I start. Oh
that's
man,
when you start tricking.
That's when I start. Not even tricking with the money. That's when I start swooing. That's when I start saying the right words and it's like reacting off them. Like here's a little game I play with a girl. So
you can sing.
Low key. I mean, low key. I can sing to them. Like in the moment to moment, I'll sing to them because it's like I'll sing like the best artist that I'll sing like is like Chris Brown.
What song do you choose?
It's whatever is like playing at the moment. But if I were to say a specific song, like right then and there, yo, excuse me, miss. I don't know your name, but excuse me, miss. I saw you from across the room.
You sing it like that?
Whisper to him, yeah. Okay. So like, yeah. Because it's like, you know, growing up, people would be like, oh, you low key look like him. They'll say either him or Shannon Brown. Yeah. And that's
I can see both of them.
They will say either or, and it's like they'll be like, "Oh, you look like Chris Brown, you look like Shannon Brown." Here's a funny story. I actually met Chris Brown.
Yeah,
bro, in the worst way possible. I'm at one of his private parties because the DJ invited me there. So I'm at his private section, private party. Chris Brown come in. Just so happened a week or so before he had like a stalker or something like that, like antagonize him and his crew. So he was like, they was on lockdown. They were booting girls out of the place before he could even get in. So I'm sitting in there and I'm like, man, I wanted to meet Chris Brown. Like I genuinely wanted to meet him. So when I could prove to people I kind of low-key look like him. So I was like genuinely trying to be like, here's me, C Breeze. I grew up listening to music. Shout out to him, like dope artist. Like I've always supported his music since I was a little kid. Cause my dad, he grew up on Bobby Brown. Chris Brown, Bobby Brown, they literally about 1 and 1. My dad feels the same way about Bobby Brown. He was actually there at the concert when he found out Whitney Houston died. I bought them those tickets to that concert.
Oh, damn.
So like run like that in the family, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm like, damn, like, okay, waiting for him to come in. I'm like a dude in a sea of girls. I'm like the only guy because I knew they were probably gonna let me in, or maybe they had booted everyone out, but it's a sea of girls. It's a Tuesday night, 2:00 in the morning. And there's 400 girls waiting. We had a bounce house.
Damn.
A bounce house he rented out for a private party. And there's 400 some girls waiting to see Chris Brown, not knowing if they actually gonna see him. This is when I truly realized, like, you know that song he made, Loyal? That was like the #1 played song or whatever. Like, he ain't lying. Like, them type of dudes could take your girl. You could do everything perfect for him. If you not them, he will take them. So he comes in. One girl sees him and he starts screaming. Like, where he at? Like, where is he? He comes in, he wearing a fig, you know, he ain't got no fresh haircut, nothing. He just chilling. Take some shots to the head, you know, whatever. And people are screaming. I saw girls fainting for him like he Michael Jackson. And I'm just standing there like, yo, I've never seen this. Before I even moved to Miami, I've never seen this. I was like, this is what it means to be him. Like, if you think about tiers, like the B-A-S, he like S. He Drake, Nicki Minaj, like he up there, like over Meek Mill.
He one of them.
He one of them for sure. For sure. He got a crazy entourage of women that will like follow him to the ends of the earth. And I'm seeing it in person. I'm seeing girls' boyfriends calling them. No BS. Like they calling them because it's Tuesday night. Like, why are you not home yet? Because he came late. And they sitting there like, Chris Brown here. Like, I don't even care about you right now. I care about this moment. So one of the bouncers, he thought I looked like him. He would come like Lil Breezy. So they letting in girls only. So I'm like, damn, I probably ain't gonna meet this dude. He's like, Lil Breezy, you wanna go see him right quick? I'm like, for sure. Like, man, just play it off. So I guess I go in the section. The one thing I'm worried about is there's a lot of stuff going on right there without saying too much. A lot of stuff going on, and there's like photos. So I'm like, no face. Like, hide my, you know, I don't want my face associated with none of that stuff. You know, that's cool. Like, I'm just trying to see if I can highlight him. Long story short, there was a moment of something that happened. And one of his entourage had came up to me. He was like, yo, bro, who the hell are you? I was like, I see the bouncer looking at me like, please. And I'm just like, man, I came in to grab the DJ bag because that's my homeboy, and I'm just grabbing stuff, put it in the car just in case I stay a little too long. And I played it all. He said, yeah. He said, so what you about to do? I said, I'm finna go ahead and go. I'm just go ahead and go. He said, yeah, I think it's the best thing. He got people around him and everything. I said, I'm just go ahead and go. He dabbed me up. We left, and I looked at the bouncer, but when I left, and I'm driving my car back home, that's when I had that realization. I refuse to live this life, or at least not strive to continue living this life to where I'm not trying to become that level or higher. And it's not because I want to be like him. It's not because I want to imitate him. It's because how could I say I love my girl, my family, right? And whenever they ask or they need something from me, I can't provide that. I can't. You don't really love them then. Your girl got a problem and she can't rely on you. Your mom and dad got a problem and they can't rely on you. You just talking then. You don't really love them. When I say I love you, I'm saying it because I'm willing to do whatever it takes for you. I'm willing, people say die for you, die and then some, right? And I'm looking at, yes, you probably don't want to be with a girl who's infatuated about a fan or celebrity or whatever. Cool, I understand that. But what I am saying is like, if I want to be a father, I don't have kids yet. I do want a lot of kids. But it's like, if I want to be a father, how can I be a father and my kid don't even look at me as like that, like a superhero? I'm supposed to be your superhero. I'm your super dad. I want my sons to look at me the same way I looked at my dad. I want my sons to look at me and be like, I'm proud to say I'm Roland the Fourth, or that's my dad. And my daughters, that's my dad. Don't play about my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, and a lot of dudes live this life never being that to their kids. And they wonder why their kids don't care about them. It's like, how can you tell your kids they can be anything they want? They look at you and they just like, you ain't anything. So when I saw that, not just because of the identity of him having a whole bunch of girls, but then I realized there are people that are really upper echelon who are superheroes to people that whatever they do, they gonna follow. And that's something I envy. But not envy in the sense where I resent them. Envy like, I want to be just like that. I want to be able to walk into a room and people ask me, Roland, can you help me with this? Can you help me with that? Or Roland, can you sign this, sign that? Because we know that exists. I can't be an NPC. I cannot be that. You remember when Madara?
Yeah.
When the introduction of Madara?
Yeah.
And we all remember that scene, right? We don't know none of those ninjas.
Nope.
We don't know none of those ninjas. They got their ass towed up, but we don't know none of those ninjas. But we remember Madara.
Facts.
The dude who hid behind Obito the whole show gets introduced for 5 seconds because people talked about him from the back end.
Yeah.
They ain't even show the backstory with him and Hashira fighting yet. So we have never really seen this dude yet. He gets introduced in the most badass way possible. We don't even know who the people he fought.
Facts.
You got towed up, boom, blown up, kicked. The one guy who thought I could take him on, let me scream and run at him, toe up, and we don't remember him. We don't remember them. That's how most people live their lives.
NPC vibe.
Just NPCs. And it's like, I don't know how they do it. Where it's just like, you going tomorrow and no one even get. Like I've seen funerals. I have genuinely seen funerals in my own family that there's 5 people there. And then my grandmother, I got her tatted on my side. We were real close. My grandmother, when she passed, they shut down the whole street in New Orleans where her funeral was. There was at least probably 100 people there.
Wow.
For one woman. And I didn't even know she was that important. They had her in the newspaper. Right? This is like all before social media and stuff, remember? So it's just like, we all remember Michael Jackson's funeral.
Yeah.
Dude had MTV, BET playing his funeral. I'm like, I live by the saying, shoot for the moon. If you miss, you still hit the stars. Aim for that. Even if I miss, that's still damn close to really good.
Facts.
So yeah.
Man, well, listen, Roland, our conversation, amazing. At your age, you got a lot of wisdom. You got a lot of energy, and you got good energy. We vibe with that. We like that, man. We appreciate you just coming on the show and just sharing your life, your insights, your everything that you got going and continue to get, because this is a interesting conversation that, we usually bring people back usually like a year from now or whatever, a year later to see where they at, because you'd be surprised how somebody life changed in a year. We had one person come on and, she didn't have long hair at the time, and she was like, oh, I'm just kind of figuring life out. And then she moved to Texas, and now she popped out, mogul, long hair, got like 5 cribs down there renting out, started an app company, all that. 1 year later. You know what I'm saying? We had a designer come on here, one of the first episodes, and now he's selling out fashion shows at the Hard Rock Stadium. the Hard Rock Hotel on a rooftop, doing all of that stuff. And he was already doing like, New York Fashion Week stuff before then, but he was always part of somebody else's thing.
Yeah.
Now these are his actual own things, and just in that night making 100,000, doing whatever. And so it's crazy.
Yeah.
I'm interested to see
how
exactly where you develop a year
I
from
know,
now, man.
Shoot, I know where I'm gonna be a year later. Like I've got it like amped in my body that it's like this is where I want to be a year later with everything I got going on. Because like I said, like on my YouTube page, I have like why segments, and what I do in my why segments is like whatever come to mind. Like, why do I have pets? Why do I work out every day? Why do I care about purpose over faith? Whatever it is, boom, 10, 20 minutes. Just like interconnected with me. This is where I'm coming from. Like kind of like how this podcast style is, but like it's one-on-one.
Yeah.
And then I also do games. I play video games. Y'all heard of platinum trophies, right?
Nah.
On the PS5, the trophies you collect.
Oh yeah.
So like if you collect all the trophies in the game, you get a platinum trophy.
Gotcha.
So that means like in order to get those trophies, you have to do specific things in the game, and that could be really hard or really easy things. But typically, getting a platinum is really hard. Well, I found on Reddit that's like 500,000 people who are like they post their platinums and people are impressed. So I was like, oh, let me trophy hunt. I'm sitting at right now 127 total platinum
trophy.
That's 127 games I've completed 100%.
Sheesh.
Right? And now I'm just like, why am I not posting in this video? So I taught myself how to edit. I do this sharing, on the game thing. And then I do it as reviews because I play everything. I guarantee you I can name 5 games right now you've never heard of that I've just recently beaten. Tales of Iron. Never heard of that? Tales of Iron 2.
No.
Yeah, that's basically like a Game of Thrones type game. You ever heard of Nine Souls?
I did have 9 Souls. Yeah.
So
it's like Dark Souls.
It's like Dark Souls, but 2D.
Yeah.
I'm playing that right now. I'm about to platinum. I'm literally about to beat it right now.
Wow.
And I play some generic games like Dragon Age and stuff like that. But I play everything, and I leave a review of it on my YouTube because that's saving somebody $70.
Oh, 100%.
But that's like the small investment. I said, once my YouTube pops off, people gonna look back at that the same way they look at IGN and stuff.
You making like evergreen videos almost.
Exactly. And it's genuine because I am a gamer. But again, it's like I'm already playing the games. I might as well give, some type of insight. So yeah, I'm like, as of now, since I've been doing it, I'm like, roughly 15 games in and counting. I average 1 a week. Like I'll beat like 3 in 1 week and just wait a week to, post them because I want to keep it consistent.
Yeah.
But I do that. And then I post my dogs. People love my dogs. Like we go to the beach and I live stream. Now I can on YouTube do live streams. I live stream on the beach. It's sunrises, because this is actually one of the best sunrises in America, because we can't see on our side of Florida, we can't see sunsets because we're on the east side and it's like a peninsula, so it goes like that. So we see sunrises. Shoot, people love just seeing some dogs. I got 2 of them, a Shiba Inu and a cattle dog, Blue Gila. And they just love seeing them running around by the water, just watching the sunrise.
Yeah, a year from now, your channel's going to be cooking.
Oh, yeah, but that's the giving back part.
Yeah.
So I do all that because this is what Dom taught me. Having followers and subscribers is how you get access to other things. Now, if I reach out to whoever podcast or to TV, movie, they gonna listen to me a lot more because they see the numbers.
Yeah.
Then I got my book. My goal with my book is actually a 3-part series. I'm already halfway done with the second one. I just stopped because I needed more YouTube subscribers. Before I drop it, I want more subscribers and followers. Because all you need is 10,000 copies to be New York bestseller. Two books, 10,000 copies.
Facts.
That's it for New York bestsellers. You probably can't name on the top of your head a fictional writer that is African American male that won New York bestseller. You probably can't think of one on the top of your head. Moonlight, okay, one.
I mean, you said name one.
Okay. I'm about to say no, but what I was trying to mean is like for the other counterpart, like Caucasian people, I could name like 20 off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Christopher Paglioni, J.K. Rowlings, the lady that write Fourth Wing. I can't remember her name, but the lady that write Fourth Wing. Some Euros. That's what I'm saying, like casually them.
Yeah.
But when it comes to being an idol or being someone that people can look up to, typically African American males do nonfiction.
Yeah.
Just about their life.
Yeah.
Well, yes, Deion Sanders, you're gonna be a New York bestseller because everyone likes you. David Goggins, 50 Cent, versus, oh wow, you have an imagination as a black man that used to be an athlete?
Facts.
I couldn't tell you how many people looked at me when I wrote that book and it was like, you wrote a fiction? A sci-fi? No way. And I'm like, okay, well, relax. Like, I do have imagination in my head, but yeah, I wrote one. And it's like, I want to put it on a big screen. Like, I want it to be like animated. I want it like the same way we look at Invincible. Same way. I want that type of
Okay.
but it's like if I have to have numbers because people clearly like the book.
Yeah.
Now I can go to Apple and Amazon.
You get the sponsors, all that.
Now I can be like, all right, let's work because I'm self-published. So it's like I ain't signed to no publisher.
Yeah.
Now I can sit there and negotiate. But it's like, gotta put the investment in, put the book out there first. Cause it was like one day I went viral. My dog went viral. My dog had went viral. I did these viral videos of me putting the controller on my dog's head and playing the game. And people love it. I stopped doing it because he eventually stopped liking it, probably because like the haptic feedback on the controller or whatever, he just didn't like it anymore. But it literally, I'm talking about 8 million, 1 million, 2 million, 11 million views casually every time I posted it. And that would make my other videos go up because people are not looking at my page.
Yep.
So I have one video on my Instagram of me opening my book and talking about my book. It went from 500 views to now it's like almost 30K views. And I ended up selling over 100 copies because of it. Because now people are like going back. So now I'm like, wait a second. I'm not going to get my book famous just because I keep going to promotions and libraries. No. That's the hard work. Viral moments. That's all it is. Social media makes everything
That's
so
why
much
they say,
easier.
are you ready to take advantage of your viral moment?
And that's why you got to have the backlog. Because when I do plan on announcing to my Instagram, my followers and all that stuff who are loyal followers already, hey, I have a YouTube page. Check out my YouTube page with all my subscribers because I've busted my butt to have 500, 1,000 subscribers. It's not hard. I mean, it's not easy. It's really hard. Now they're going to be like, oh, you've already proved it. Instead of, oh, I just started out. Follow me. I'm going to look from afar. You ain't got it yet. They're going to see all the videos. I went from 60 videos January. I'm about to hit 200 videos. That's how much I'm pushing out. So right now, people binge it.
Yeah,
the watch hours
right
hours gonna shoot up. Yeah, because whether they haters or they lovers, they gonna see what I got going on. But I gotta invest all that. Even if I don't get no views, keep investing on that every single day.
Hey, that's the mindset that you gotta have, man. Listen, Roland is an exceptional person, man, and I'm interested. I know y'all gonna be interested. This was an amazing podcast. It was a fun podcast. It was we had a lot of different elements to it. And man, if people wanted to tap in with you, learn more about you, follow you on this journey, because this is coming out this Wednesday.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so, hey, where could they find you at?
So you can find my camera right here. So you can find me on my Instagram. All my socials are the same, but my Instagram is Ro_Will15. It's a guy with the dogs over there. I don't sell no courses, none of that. You know me because I am unorthodox. It says it in my bio. I just like to have fun. You're going to see consistency and the same thing over and over. Workouts, my dogs, and whatever I got new going on, like this podcast right here. And in my YouTube, obviously, it's coming up. It is coming up, and it's been in the works. So yeah, follow me on my YouTube, Instagram. I don't really be on TikTok, but you can follow me on TikTok too, all on the same surname. So Ro_Will15.
There you have it, man. Listen, this was another amazing episode of Attractive Mindset. And like, share, subscribe with a friend. And as you know, we always say, we look good, we live good, life is good. Talk to us. We talk back. We out.